James. We're not sharing him with anyone.
Right? We can't have anybody disrespecting the king.
Still waiting on Matt to get us started.
Oh shit, sorry.
This is gonna be a good
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello everybody. Welcome to another installment of Stevecast. My name is Matthew. Joining me tonight, over there on the West Coast, is Rachel.
Hey!
And here in Lincoln, joining me is Steve.
Yeah, we're all very high energy right now. Ready to go? Let's do this.
I'm real low energy.
You sound like you have the plague, my friend.
Our friend
Bubonic
Josh.
Matt.
Well, our good friend Josh Wexelman, he asked me to help him out on his movie Pigface 2. And yesterday was the first night of principal photography, and we were supposed to be done, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, something. Turns out it was 5 a.m., and I am like dead. I have no energy. I haven't really slept. I did watch American Ninja and American Ninja 2 in anticipation of this cast, even though I'm dying, and I will do my best.
So
But
you're
no
not
promises.
sick?
No, this is allergies from being outside all night long. It was so fucking cold, Rachel. The temperature dropped to like the low 40s. There were winds. It was all. He was filming like girls biting dicks off and things in the cold. You'll see it all. Anyone who wants to check it out, I'll have a vlog on Outpost Unknown. You can watch all about the first night of principal photography and how miserable of an experience it was. And now this is what I sound like.
See, I have no sympathy because if I had a nickel for every time Matt told me we would be done with a movie by a certain time and then went several hours past that, I wouldn't need these YouTube dollars coming in.
Now, and I realized because I hadn't actually been on a movie set for, I don't know, 2 years, that it sucks. Especially outdoor shoots at night in the cold. I'm too old for this shit. I'm like Danny Glover.
This reminds me of a story. Like years ago, when we were filming Outpost Doom, part of the namesake of Outpost Unknown, and we are planning to get done around like midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. But someone bet Matt that he couldn't get the rest of the movie done that night, and so Matt, not willing to lose a bet for zero money, like kept us filming until like 6 o'clock in the morning just to win this meaningless fucking bet.
Yeah, that was when I was young and virile. I'm not that anymore.
I really thought you would like come down with some sort of plague. You sound ill.
He came down with a case of the filmmaking.
Yeah, I came down with a case of the Joshes. But it was fun. You'll see it on the Outpost Unknown YouTube vlog. But I am like just dragging. I'm hopefully Steve James brings me up. And the reason why we're doing this is because I don't know if we're gonna put up the last Stevecast we did. So we wanted to go to something we knew.
I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't made a Stevecast in 2 months.
We wanted to select something that we know is going to be solid quality. That is the wonderful Steve James. Now, Steve, tell us why we love Steve James.
So years ago, the original iteration of the Stevecast, one of us, maybe it was Matt, I don't remember, but they made the decision to watch American Ninja 2. And this was, I think we had all seen Steve James before in different movies, but for some reason, this is the first time it clicked. Like, we were in awe of how amazing Steve James was, and we committed to watching more Steve James movies in the future, and then we promptly quit. But we're bringing it back now.
It hurts to laugh, guys. It seriously does. Like, yeah, I was on my feet for like 12 hours straight. Every muscle in my body was just on fire. But I'm here because I love both of you, and I'm here for you on this.
You're mostly here because you love Steve James.
That's true. That's true. Now, I did rewatch American Ninja 2, but I also watched American Ninja back to back because I don't think I'd ever actually seen American Ninja the first one, and I saw that Steve James was in it, so I wanted to make sure I got the full sort of. I think it's a quadrilogy. There's a part four. I don't know if Steve James is in that one though, because he might have passed away by then. But I definitely wanted
Way
to
to
get.
bring us down, Matt.
Well,
Yeah.
no, this is a celebration of Steve James because, yes, he did pass away. I think it was cancer. Fuck cancer. Cancer is bullshit. But we're here to celebrate the greatness of Steve James, and I will tell you that if you have either one of you have not watched the first American Ninja, Steve James is a boss in that, and it's great. So I can't wait. Steve or Rachel, why do you like Steve James so much? You seem to be very thirsty after the first American Ninja 2. Are you very excited about American Ninja 3?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back, Like, he's a bona fide Stevecast sex symbol, and I'm excited to celebrate him here now on the revived Stevecast for sure.
Yeah, we better get some shirtless Steve James in this because he's shirtless in the first American Ninja. He's shirtless in American Ninja 2. We need him to be shirtless in American Ninja 3.
Agreed.
Just saying.
I'm just happy that Matt is now going to be our American Ninja deep lore expert going forward.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna actually watch American Ninja 4. I don't know. I
I
guess
mean, we will if Steve James is in it, and it's also on Tubi at some point.
it is
It
on
doesn't
Tubi. It
appear
is.
to be in it, unfortunately. I'm looking at the IMDb, and there is no Steve James to be found. Just
Okay,
another
then this
mulleted
is-
white guy.
This is just a trilogy, then. American
Yep.
Ninja 4 may as well be a different franchise.
Yeah, and I think
Indeed.
what's interesting about this one is in the first two, I feel like I'm talking real low. Like I have this very
There's a little
sexy tone.
ASMR thing that's happening
Okay,
right now.
yeah.
There's just a little extra bass.
Turn up the volume, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very vibration-like tonight.
You're going to be talking about Steve James in that voice. I may
Oh,
explode.
Yeah. Okay. But the first two films have Michael Dudikoff he's sort of like a co-lead with Steve James, and Michael Dudikoff is not in American Ninja 3, and based on the
What?
based on the cast listing here, it's a dude named Sean, or the character's name is Sean Davidson, which is not the Joe Armstrong that Michael Dudikoff played.
Joe Armstrong. I forgot about
Yeah.
that name.
Yeah. So the Wikipedia here says Michael Dudikoff was originally to reprise his role of Joe Armstrong, but he got burnt out on martial arts, and also the film was made in South Africa while the apartheid movement was still going on, and Dudikoff did not want to be around it. So again, I don't know how I fucking picked these.
Yeah, whatever newsletter you're subscribing to, unsubscribe.
I'm like, what? Okay, so, but I mean, Steve James was there, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. So,
There is an American Ninja 5 starring Pat Morita. I just wanted to let you
What?
know.
What?
Yep.
holy cow!
As
Okay.
Master Tetsu. We may have to dip.
Oh my god. Okay, cool. And I'd be curious if like some of these sequels do flashbacks. Like, is it all part of one big giant story arc? Do they do flashbacks to Steve James? Do we have like Steve James' daughter show up in the sequels or something like?
Steve James Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me sad.
All right. So, Steve, what are you expecting from American Ninja 3? What do you want from?
I'm
American
expecting
Ninja
it to be, well, what I want is just Steve James from the beginning of the movie until the end credits just destroying every bad guy that gets in his path. What I'm expecting is Steve James being forced to play sidekick to a much less interesting white guy.
You have never lied.
How about you, Rachel? What are you looking forward to in this?
I'm hoping there's a lot of like slow plan montages, like training montages, but I'm guessing Steve's gonna be right on the money with that.
What I'm hoping for is that Steve James was clearly like the co-lead of the first two. I hope that he's kind of like the main lead in this. Like we like Steve said, we get more Steve James, even if he is just kind of, running around with this stupid white guy that
Oh,
nobody cares about.
Michael Dudikoff came back for part 4.
What?
Yep.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this is all connected. This is one big story.
Yeah, I think he joins the guy that is in this one.
Oh man,
But
so
he's
I gotta
gone
finish
again
it
on
off then.
5, but
But
back when
it does appear, unfortunately, that part 3 is the last one that Steve James is involved with.
That's sad. That's sad. But we'll
Mhm.
talk more about our love for Steve James as we go forward in my bassy vibratone voice. So let's go ahead and get this started.
the name of your bone clone.
Yes, I might need a bone clone after we watch this movie.
Can I ask before we get started, is there any it's been a while since we watched 2. Is there any lore that myself and people in the audience who are maybe just joining us for the first time need to know about the Ninja verse?
Well, that's a good question, Rachel. Steve, did you watch the first American Ninja? You mentioned you might watch it today.
I did not, because when I turned it on, it was several minutes of Michael Dudikoff, and
Yeah.
I just turned
That
it
would
back
make you
off
turn it
again.
off too.
Okay, so basically, just a quick high-level synopsis of the original American Ninja. Michael Dudikoff plays this Army Ranger. He was given a choice to either go to jail or go into the Army because he almost killed a man, but he has amnesia. He has no idea how he has ninja talents and ninja skills. He just whenever he's in a fight, like whenever he's like in a bar fight or something, they just come out.
Like, I
Out
would
of
love to just wake up one day and suddenly I'm a ninja.
Yeah. So Michael Dudikoff doesn't know, so he gets forced into sort of like military. But what ends up happening is there's this convoy that's attacked, and Michael Dudikoff ends up saving the daughter of the colonel. And she basically, the military blames him for a bunch of the other army guys getting shot and killed. So he's trying to sort of negotiate living in this sort of military barracks with all of these guys, and Steve James happens to be one of the guys in the military there, and he challenges Michael Dudikoff to a fight at the very beginning. And Michael Dudikoff just kicks the shit out of
Oh,
him. And
boo.
yeah,
Boo.
but wait, it gets better. So what makes Steve James so awesome is he gets his ass kicked and then he immediately says, "Man, you're the better man." And he tries to stick up for Michael Dudikoff, and it turns out Steve James has ninja skills, and he wants to be like, "Where the heck did you get these ninja skills from?" And Michael Dudikoff's like, "I got them from the streets," and he's like, "No, man, I'm from the streets. Where'd you get your ninja skills?" It's so good. And so anyway, Michael Dudikoff and Steve James team up with the daughter of this military colonel to take down this guy who is trying to sell missiles for $4 million to another bad guy, and there's a henchman named Black Star Ninja, and
Ooh.
and so long story short, Michael Dudikoff shows up. He gets taught. He was taught by an Asian ninja master who calls him his son. They don't really explain how or why, just that that's how he got his powers. And so Michael Dudikoff fights Black Star Ninja while Steve James shows up with bazookas and blows the shit, machine guns, like and stuff like that, and then they come together and sort of save the girl and everything at the very end.
See,
Support.
I turned on American Ninja 1, and the first several minutes are Michael Dudikoff declining to take part in a hacky sack game.
Yes, yes, that's a thing.
The
That's a
most
thing.
heroic thing he's ever done.
Yes, yes. So American Ninja 2, Steve James and Michael Dudikoff, Joe Armstrong are now best buds, and somebody in Washington D.C. says, "Hey, you need to go down to this like beach." Where the Marines are stationed. So they got to go undercover as Marines, and there's lots of wacky hijinks that ensue because they're Army Rangers, so they got to act like they're Marines. And turns out in this case, there is a drug lord who is creating like biogenetically engineered ninjas that cannot be destroyed if not for the the combined powers of one Michael Dudikoff and fucking Steve James. And they save the day, and it's unclear, based on whether, from the first movie, whether these black-clad ninjas in part 2 are the same ones from part 1. They never really explain that. However, they saved the day. Michael Dudikoff gets the girl again, which is disappointing because the girl in the first, it was really awesome. I really liked her in that. I wish they would have kept her going over to part 2. And she's the girl in God, what's her name? She's in Friday the 13th Part 4. It was her first movie, and she's really awesome in the first American Ninja. But yeah, so there's no real cohesion other than there are ninjas. Any other questions?
No,
Why did I agree to this?
I'm ready to get started. I am ready to do this.
All right, we're gonna start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Shalom, y'all. Shalom.
Only Steve James can get away with that.
I'm going to buy you both that shirt for Christmas. So let's talk about the first 15 minutes of American Ninja 3. It starts in Los Angeles, 1979. These two really annoying ADR kids are watching a karate tournament.
One more fight and they'll start the main event. Oh, come on, yeah!
And one kid is named Sean, who it turns out is the main character, and I guess his dad is going to be one of the fighters upcoming. While this tournament is going on, this obviously evil businessman needs money to open a plant. And I don't know what the plant is. We'll see a little bit later, maybe, but at this point we have no idea. And with him is an old bald man wearing a golf sweater and a scarf, and he's the Cobra. And so the Cobra is going to go to this martial arts venue and rob them and get the evil businessman the money to open his plant.
Heist. What the
Yes,
hell?
That's where the money is. The karate tournaments of the late 1970s.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
Large
finance
Marge was
all the
expecting it.
plants with that karate money. So they rob the plant, but they get discovered. The Cobra takes young Sean hostage, and his dad, who again is a martial arts fighter, tries to rescue him. Sean bites the Cobra to get, and that makes the Cobra drop Sean. But then the Cobra points his handgun that is also a machine gun and shoots 37 bullets at once, but only 2 of them apparently actually come out and hit Sean's dad.
Stand back! Don't shoot my son!
No!
John! Look out!
Dad?
Regardless, he kills Sean's dad. It cuts a year later, and now Sean is in Japan with a guy named, is it Izumi? Is that the? I think that's the guy's name. Anyways, the guy that was
Racist.
giving his dad a massage in the previous scene is apparently a ninja warrior, and so he takes Sean to Japan and trains him. Starting in 1980, and then several years later, I'm assuming 8-9 years. I'm assuming this movie takes place in the same year that it came out. But Azumi, the massage parlor guy, has the ability to designate people ninjas. And so he's trained Sean up, and he says, Sean, you put in the work. I have nothing else to teach you. You are a ninja now. Cool. That's a power he has. So using his ninja training, Sean becomes like a famous martial artist. He's on the cover of like some karate magazine, and he goes to a karate tournament on an island. And on this island, a guy has a bunch of chemicals behind him, and he's talking to like evil warlord generals, and he's going to create a super ninja, and I'm pretty sure that was the exact plot of the last movie.
Yes, because I just watched it. Yeah.
An evil businessman on an island wants to create super ninjas. So this, I feel like they just said, "Hey, let's take the script for American Ninja 2 and put a 3 on it, and then just make it again." But anyway, so Sean Davidson goes to this island where there is going to be a big karate tournament, where there he meets our favorite hero of the film, Mr. Steve James. And what is his shirt saying?
Shalom,
Shalom,
y'all.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
So Sean meets Steve James, and I don't know if they've previously met or they know each other by reputation.
Just
But
that
whatever,
ninja
they-
connection. You
Yeah,
know what I
Ninja
mean?
Connection. They seem
Yeah.
to just immediately, connect and get along. And then this annoying guy named Dex shows up, and I hope he dies early on because he's already super annoying.
I really
Anyways.
need both of you to recreate his look, though. The white
No.
pants with the open white shirt tucked into them.
I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna
I'll do
pitch
it.
that to Matt. That's
I'll
his
do
homework
it.
assignment.
That's my Halloween costume for you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this woman with the worst '80s hair that I've ever seen is like
It's not the worst. It's bad. It's not the worst.
I mean, all '80s hair is pretty equally worse or bad. Anyways, she is scouting out these karate warriors, trying to find the perfect specimen to turn into a super ninja, and she has picked, stupidly, foolishly, she has picked Sean as the target rather than Steve James.
Right.
But she goes back to the evil businessman and tells him, hey, keep an eye on this Sean guy. The karate tournament starts, and now Sean is fighting a guy, and that is where we are paused. Also, Steve James is apparently known for swords now.
Yeah, he's carrying a big ass sword.
So we're gonna, at some point, they pay that off, right? Like, Steve James is going to have a sword fight with a ninja. Like, right?
They must. They must.
I mean,
But even I think even in the first American Ninja, he has a sword fight. It's never established that he's great with swords. Like they don't say, hey, he's really known for sword work. But he'll pick up a sword from a dead ninja he's just murdered, and then use that sword to fuck up every other ninja that comes his way. So
Which
he's
is
good with
weird,
swords.
because if he killed a ninja that had a sword and Steve James didn't, clearly the sword would be holding him back at that point. Like, he's good enough to do it with his bare hands, right?
Well, it's about sort of embarrassing the person, right? Killing them with their own weapon. It just rubs salt in the wound a little
Maybe
bit.
he's doing it because he wants a fair fight. It's like, I, can snap my fingers and kill everyone in this room. I'm going to force myself to use a sword to give you all a chance because that's just how fantastic Steve James is.
Well, what's really interesting watching this coming off having just watched part 1 and part 2 is one of the great things about Steve James, and I'm saying this in all seriousness, is in the first 2 movies, they really made him like the personality of the film. Michael Dudikoff had 0 personality whatsoever. He's just like this stoic, quiet dude. Whereas Steve James, in part 2, there's this big sort of bar fight sequence, and Steve James is like, "Come on!" and he's like throwing people around. He's laughing. He's letting people punch him in the face multiple times, laughing at them, and then just snapping their necks. And
Yeah.
as I was
In a
watching,
bar fight?
yeah, and he's in the military too, because this is what Americans do. And so what I think is when I was watching these today, I was like, he has so much more charisma than like Steven
Seriously.
Seagal or who's this? Who am I? Like Jean-Claude Van Damme, like
Oh,
all that.
hell yeah.
He's got so much more charisma. I'm like, I wish that Steve James would have been like he could have been an '80s icon, like on
Yeah.
that level if they would have let him. I think.
Yeah, I want to live in the timeline where he was in Universal Soldier.
Oh, for sure. He could be Commando. He's rocking a rocket launcher at the end of the first American Ninja, which I will say the black.
Resisting jokes. I just want to say, I want credit.
You don't need to resist.
I'm trying to make this edit easy for you this time, Matt.
I was also going to point out, like, he not only is he, I mean, he's got like the Schwarzenegger Commando rocket launcher in the first one, but he's actually like fighting ninjas in the first one that have like laser guns on their wrists. It's just And I think he rolls in on a 50 cal machine gun on the back of like some military vehicle. He's like, "Take me up there!" And they drive up these steps, and he's just mowing down terrorists with it. I mean, I want a movie that's nothing but him. And
I've never felt more patriotic than
Yes.
I am in this moment.
Go America, go America. So right now, I mean, I've seen him. He's so much bigger than everyone around him. The camera should just focus on him at all times, and not this
Seriously.
stupid Sean guy that no one gives a shit about. But we'll see. I'm there's wasn't a whole lot of Steve James in this first part, but I'm hoping more. I'm hoping
They're
there's
just
more.
teasing us a little bit. They're building it up.
Oh, yeah.
They're building it up.
In addition to creating a super ninja, the goal of the evil businessman is to scientifically perfect terrorism, which I think are words that have never
Yes.
been strung together before. They're just making shit up as they
Yeah.
go along. There's also a guy like General Andreas, and he looks identical to the Cobra. They're both just like chubby, balding, light-skinned guys. Like,
Wait a minute. Those are not the same person?
No, that's what I thought.
What?
I thought like the Cobra had been like awarded by the businessman like with some sort of like high level position on this private island. You know, that this is your
Yeah.
reward for getting us the money to start this super ninja plant that I have created. But no, General Andre, unless there's some plot twist coming, they just picked basically like two identical men to play different roles in this
Like,
movie.
I'm not trying to be racist, but all white people look alike, apparently. No?
Problematic.
Problematic.
So problematic.
But yeah, I thought that was the Cobra too, and then suddenly he begins talking with an accent and like really dressing down evil businessman guy.
So
And
you're saying the Cobra is a bald guy?
I thought the Cobra was like the business guy with the
Yeah.
feathered hair.
Yeah, like the poofy
was
hair.
it? I thought
so.
I thought the Cobra was the guy that killed Sean's dad in the opening, like that pudgy guy with the
Hold on.
sweater on.
Okay, I'm gonna look up here. IMDb. Let's see who
So,
plays
while
the
he's
Cobra.
searching, have we seen yet the person to whom you will be sending tweets to? For this
God,
episode?
who's?
Are we gonna text the Cobra, whoever he turns out to
I feel like that guy is dead at this point for sure. Who is?
That's great.
Okay, Steve, you were incorrect.
I was incorrect? Okay.
Rachel and I are correct on who the Cobra is.
So the Cobra
Yeah.
is the businessman?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll point out that the music in this is fucking awesome. And it was written by George Clinton, and I first thought, was this the Parliament of Funkadelic George Clinton? But no, it's another guy.
Can we talk about the ADR in this opening section? Why did the two children sound like 45-year-old men using high voices?
I feel like, in a normal scene like this, when you have a big crowd of people who are cheering and spectating on like a karate tournament, normally the proper filmmaking way to do it is you instruct the people in the crowd, pretend like you're cheering, don't actually make any noise, and then you have the actual actors delivering their dialogue, and then you could just Foley in noise later on. But I feel like in this case, the director said, cheer as much as you want, and then they couldn't hear a word that these little kids were saying, and so then they just grabbed, Joe
Themselves.
Schmo from down the hall and said, hey, we need you to ADR this real quick. This is a Canon film. Canon is notorious for this kind of stuff.
It's like almost like a parody of itself a little bit with the audio. Like it seems like an Arl Knots movie. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen Arl Knots?
I have not, no.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I'm
delete
trying to
that
find
number.
out if yeah, let's delete it out. I'm trying to find out if David Bradley has a Twitter, but that's such a generic name that I can't tell who. There's like 78 David Bradleys on Twitter.
I mean, surely he must be going under the American Ninja, right?
I mean, I can just text or tweet them all.
Which of you
Can
is
I mass
responsible for
tweet?
this?
David Bradley.
Okay, so Rachel, is there anything that you wanted to say about this opening 15 minutes, or are you just dying to get into the next one?
I mean, I'm just dying to get some more Steve James in my life. It's been very light in the Steve James department so far. So,
Okay,
I'm
let's go.
eager.
Let's go ahead and kick off the minute 15 to 30 mark of American Ninja 3: what is it, Blood Hunt or Blood Money or something? There's a subtitle to this movie. I forgot what it was called. And we will be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, play.
Good tactical blocks and quick reactions from Davidson has averted any contact hits.
Continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been more heterosexual in my life.
I have never been less. So, minutes 15 to 30 of American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt. That was the subtitle that Matt was looking for earlier. We pick up with Sean fighting his karate tournament fight. He wins. And then he and Steve James and Dex go out to celebrate, where Dex is being this awful, cringy wingman, as if Steve James needed that. But Dex
Like,
is...
we didn't know he was a heartthrob.
Yes.
Emphasis on throb.
Powerhouse
Jackson.
Guys, come on over for a beer. Let me introduce you. My buddy Sean,
Hi. How are
karate
you?
champion.
Hi, I'm Susanna.
And this is Powerhouse Jackson.
Oh, powerhouse.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
I'm Dex,
Hi, Dick.
kind of the heartthrob of the group.
So Dex is leading them around, like introducing them to ladies, and and Steve James just sits down and immediately has the attention of every woman at the table, like he should. But Sean looks up and he sees his master Izumo. I got it wrong last time. It's Izumo, not Izumi. But Izumo is being kidnapped, and so Sean leaves, which unfortunately means we don't see Steve James for a little bit. But Sean chases after Izumo, goes through this really bad ninja battle, finds his master, but the master keeps getting kidnapped. So Sean is fighting these ninjas, and he starts chasing the ones that are dragging off Izumo. And there's two ninjas, and they're dressed. All the ninjas in this movie are dressed in full black garb, head to toe. They basically look like a Noob Saibot from the Mortal Kombat games. I point this out because this fight is taking place in broad daylight. These ninja costumes are doing absolutely nothing, and yet they still manage to sneak up on Sean, this idiot hero that we are having to follow here. But he fights off the ninjas underwater, so we saw an underwater ninja fight, which is not something I was expecting tonight. That was okay.
No.
Yeah.
But he, collects himself. He doesn't rescue his master. He goes and finds Steve James and unfortunately Dex. And Sean is like, hey, Steve James, I have something to tell you. I have a ninja master. I'm a ninja. And Steve James is like, yep, cool. No worries. I got it. That explains a lot.
Look, I have a master, Izumo. He raised me since my father's killing. In a way of ninja.
You're a ninja?
Yes.
So that explains a few things.
What I love about this is like the power of Steve James, right? Like, I would want to be this guy's friend because it does not matter what kind of crazy shit. Like, if I walked up, Steve, I'm a fucking ninja and this is going down, and it's just like, all right, I'm in. He's like, I'm in. What do I got?
He's also like, ninjas again. What is it, Tuesday?
He was being kidnapped by the ninja.
Ninja. Not again.
I thought ninja only hung out in Japan.
No, they were here. Look, I don't want you guys to get involved.
I'm in, buddy.
Okay, but what about the tournament?
it's just
He
a
mentions
daily
that.
thing for him.
He mentions Joe, so we should point out that this connects back to American
Yes.
Ninja and American Ninja 2 because
Continuity.
he's fighting the ninja, or he's about ready to fight the ninja. I love the shot when they see all these ninjas coming out. I don't know if it's like a back alley in L.A. or something. Like all these
Yeah.
black clad ninjas are coming out, and they cut back to our three heroes, and Steve James, he's just rubbing his hands with like a smile on his face. He can't wait to kick some ass here, and he's like, well, I guess we gotta. We gotta. So
Oh God, do I have to kill ninjas again? Oh
Yeah,
shucks.
but he's like, ninjas, I can't believe I'm doing ninjas again. He's like, I left these with Joe in the army, so we get a mention, we get a
We
shout
get our
out to Michael Dudikoff.
in-universe explanation of why Michael Dudikoff is not in this movie, and the explanation is Steve James left the military, which apparently means they don't hang out anymore. Which I wouldn't hang out with them either. You know, full disclosure. But anyways, they have this fight, and Steve James is not having any problem with any of the ninjas he comes across. He picks one up and delivers a fucking WWE style backbreaker to one guy.
He has, he in all of these movies, Steve, he has more of a problem with whatever like shirt or vest he's wearing at the time than he does the ninjas, because he always just throws the fucking thing down and is like, let's go.
Yep.
We do get our first Steve James sword fight. Sean is just shitty. He's getting knocked around by the ninjas. He eventually wins because he's the hero, whatnot. But I did laugh at one point. There's one point where Sean is lying on the ground and he's got nunchucks and he's holding them up to block a ninja standing over him who's swinging like a ninja weapon down. And I laughed at that because that is absolutely a shot that Matt and I used during Chills Down Your Spine.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yes.
but anyways, they beat the ninjas. They regroup, and the hunt is on to find Azumo. Unfortunately, it turns out Azumo was not there. Azumo was actually 80s hair lady in disguise. Anyways,
Rachel, how does the hair poof up like that after you've been in like the ninja garb? Like, would hair
I mean,
normally
I
do
feel
that?
like you're underestimating the power of Aquanet, which was the super hairspray of the '80s that is like illegal now.
So it springs back into place, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, 80s hair is apparently able to perfectly mimic Azumo because she fooled Sean here.
This movie is racist, y'all.
Yeah, she's trying to catch Sean for Evil Businessman. I really enjoy the idea of the pudgy bald white guy with the golf sweater and scarf being the Cobra. So in my head continuity now, he is the Cobra and Evil Businessman is just Evil Businessman. So anyways, that's where we're at now.
Got a lot of nerve retconning a piece of cinema like this.
Yeah, I hope time forgives me for my sins. Steve James was in this for about 7-8 minutes of the 15-minute block. He was amazing, definitely the star of the show. I would argue that of the three ninjas here, as much as I dislike Dex, Sean is the one holding them back right now.
Yep.
Oh, the end of this segment was Dex, who again is more useful than Sean right now. Observed where the ninjas were going, and so our heroes will presumably go after them in the next block.
Yeah, he's able to spot them because they're the three guys in full black ninja outfit.
Running around in daylight.
Yeah, and in American Ninja 2, the ninjas were in broad daylight on the beach running around. So
I remember that.
Yeah. And American Ninja 1 does have some ninja stuff that takes place at night, so it does make sense. I think Black Star ninjas running around on rooftops and stuff at night and that. But I will say for this 50 minutes was way more enjoyable purely for Steve James. Like, once he shows up, again, it's that charisma, right? That shot when he's just sitting there rubbing his hands and our bland generic white heroes just staring at the camera like an idiot doing nothing. You're just like, that moment of him rubbing his hands and smiling is just so charismatic, and it's like, all right, we're in for it. Like and again, our bland generic white hero, Sean, whatever the fuck his stupid name is, he's having problems with one guy. They show Steve James taking on multiple ninjas simultaneously and fucking them all up. So it's like clear he should be the star of this. And
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
He's the legacy character. It's wild that he's not the lead.
Do you think that maybe is that something Steve James requested? Like he's like, hey, the director, producer, everyone at Canon Films, like, I'm the hero. You know it, I know it, but the times require me to let this lazy, lame white guy over here win. Just give me the best fight scenes. That's all I want. I want the best fight scenes because I am the best, because I am Steve James.
Yeah, actors, they just love taking lesser parts whenever they can. They're like, give me less lines, give me less screen time.
We have to find a movie where Steve James, like a ninja movie where he is the lead. There has to be one that exists.
Right?
I don't want to. I mean, it's such a shame. It's a cinematic travesty that this man was relegated to sidekick role in all of these movies, because he is so fucking good. He's so good. I will say, after watching the first two back-to-back this afternoon, this film here is the actual quality of the film is way superior to the first two. The fight scenes are a lot better choreographed. The first two movies are very sort of like wooden and stilted. It's kind of one of those things where somebody punches and then they wait for the next hit to come. Like, they don't move, they kind of freeze in place and then they react. You see that a lot in the first two movies. This one, the fight scenes seem a lot more fluid. Like Steve said, there's an underwater fight scene, which was, even though it was our bland generic hero, it was appreciated. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. They went outside their comfort zone a little bit there. You got shots like, crane shots and pans and sliders and all kinds of stuff. So this actually looks far more professional. Looks like there was more money behind this one. They just should have gotten rid of everybody and just had Steve James versus all ninjas in the world, and that would have been an infinitely better movie.
Hell yeah.
So I still can't find anyone to tweet because, again, there are a million David Bradleys in the world. But
what about that Dax guy? What is he up to?
Nothing. This is probably his last role in life.
Why don't you just tweet Michael Dudikoff?
Just keep tweeting him back like you think he's the one in the movie?
Yes, do it!
Twitter.
Like, you were especially
Michael
good in the third one.
Dudikoff. It's like, wow, you look really different in American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt.
What was it like being with Steve James on American Ninja 3 Blood?
What was it like standing in Steve James's girthy shadow during the first two American Ninja movies? Michael Dudikoff's Twitter bio says, actor, family man, black belt, and keeping life simple.
Oh, I hate him.
All right, tweet at Michael Dudikoff.
While you're doing
look
that,
really different in American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt.
But tell him it was also his best performance.
Okay.
I really loved your smolder in American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt. And I love Steve
really
James'
brought
line,
that swag.
"What a damn day."
I
love it.
know.
And
Snaps a neck, and it's just like, oh.
What a damn day.
Man, what a damn day.
What a damn day. And I'm going to say that next week when I'm on set at Pigface 2. What a damn day. And no one's going to know
someone's
it.
Neck on
Yes.
set.
No one's going to get the joke. No one's going to get it. But that's what I'm taking that from Steve James going forward. That's my motto in life. What a damn day.
Is
Live
it
every
weird
day
that
like you're Steve James? That's what I always say.
is it weird that I feel bad for saying that to Michael Dudikoff? I mean, I sent the tweet. I told him the American Ninja 3 is his best role. We'll see if anyone ever responds. But now I feel bad.
Don't.
I feel like after
You're getting
American
soft at your
Ninja
old
2,
age, Steve. You're getting
maybe
soft.
I am. We should probably
You
start.
said way crazier shit.
We
than that.
we should start referring to him as like friend of the show, Michael Dudikoff.
Yes. Put it in our bio. Put it in our bio.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get ready for the next 15 minutes, minutes 30 through 45 of American Ninja 3 and 5 for
Sorry,
3,
Michael.
2, play.
That was like 5 minutes of Steve James just walking into a police station and laying his dick on the table.
Unfortunately, not literally.
Yes, metaphorical dick. So let's talk about minutes 30 to 45 of American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt. After they see the ninjas, these black dressed ninjas in broad daylight running into this whatever research facility. It cuts to Steve James and a new guy on the beach, and Steve James is just got his spread eagle right into the camera. I'm sure we all had a good time with that. The Sean guy says, I don't know what to do. He went to the embassy or something to try to find Izumo, and was basically given the runaround and told, Izumo's not here, we have no record of this person, blah, blah, blah. And so he just gives up, which you would expect this character to do. And Steve James says, all right, let me try it my way. And so he puts on his best sleeveless shirt and cowboy boots, and he goes into the police station, I guess, to try to file a missing person report, and no one wants to help him. He eventually goes to talk to the captain. The captain basically threatens him. The research facility that you think Izumo is being held at is a big donor, supports the island, blah, blah, blah. Clearly, the evil police captain here is in on it and is basically crooked. But Steve James is just shit-talking these guys the entire time. He calls this cop Godzilla and puts $1 in his pocket and tells him to go see a movie, and then he takes the $1 back and tells him to stop breathing my air.
Look, Godzilla. Here's some money, okay? Now go see a movie. Cheer up!
You're breathing my air.
Give me back my money.
It's awesome. It's so awesome. It's charisma, man. Like, he had screen presence. He really did.
Doing nothing, just shaking his head in a truck. You're like, oh my god, star.
Yeah, let's talk about the truck scene. So,
oh god.
The heroes see. I don't know what to call this. It's basically like a hang glider attached to a go-kart or something.
Yeah.
But they spot one off in the distance, and the heroes are like, "Sweet, let's go rob these people." And so Dex picks a lock that lets him get to these hang gliders. There's two hang gliders and a truck. So Steve James takes the truck. Dex and Sean take the hang gliders, and they are going to sail into this research facility where they believe Izumo is being held. So the plan is, Sean is going to land and then immediately start hunting for Izumo. Dex is going to land, and then he's supposed to find a way to open the gate so Steve James can drive in. That doesn't happen, though, because Dex's hang glider stops working, and so Sean, who, as part of his ninja training, learned how these hang gliders work. It's very important for ninjas to have this ability. He is able to talk Dex into a perfect landing onto the back of Steve James's truck. And the whole time, Steve James is just... It will cut to Steve James in the truck looking off to the side and then looking back behind him. And then it goes back to Sean and Dex doing their thing. And it cuts back to Steve James. Steve James looks off to the side and then he looks back behind him. Was that literally the same scene of Steve James and they just looped it over and over and over again, or
maybe.
did they film new shots of Steve James looking off to the side and then looking back behind him 5 or 6 times until this terrible scene was over? Regardless, Steve James shit talks Dex, because why wouldn't you, and calls him Sky King or something.
Man, that was some landing. Was I good or what?
Look, Sky King, let's dump that baby, okay? We've got to meet Sean and Izumo outside the lab.
So they're now driving together in the truck while Sean has landed in the evil research facility, the ninjas, who are now dressed in bright blue rather than black, now that it's nighttime, he just...
So you can see him, Rachel. You can see them then.
Yes, because
the worst
ninjas are nothing, if obvious.
Now, if you remember in American Ninja 2, at the very end, it was like Power Rangers. There was all different types of colored ninjas. There was blue, there was red, there was yellow, there was green, there was black.
There was no green.
You sure?
I saw no green. Yeah. No.
In American Ninja 2?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was green.
Do you not remember this?
No.
Well.
Okay.
What are you talking
about? There was a whole conspiracy theory about the Green Ninja when we watched it the first time. Do you not remember this?
I don't remember that at all, no.
Me either. One of these days, maybe we will dig out the safer old Stevecast episodes and see about posting those. American Ninja 2 was okay. The Puppet Master movie... No, that Puppet Master Stevecast was not okay. So maybe we'll just rescue the American Ninja 2 episode. Anyways, Sean has infiltrated the facility. The ninjas have changed clothes so that they are visible at night, and that is where we are. Oh,
what are the bad guys doing, Steve? They're gonna do some germ warfare or something. They had bodies. What are they planning?
Yeah, I don't know. I still think
Neither
they're trying.
That's why I asked
they're still trying to create a super ninja and also scientifically perfect terrorism. Was 80's Hair having some second thoughts? She's like, I never understood why someone wouldn't want to cure a virus.
I think they're lying to her. I think she's going to turn at the very end.
Probably. But evil businessman, like, he's trying to create this virus and this super ninja because he wants the people that have everything. And I don't know if this is social commentary or if he's just talking about like other bad guys like him, but he wants to be able to make the people that have everything fear things again.
Yeah.
I liked the first 5 minutes of this 15-minute block, and I hated everything else.
Yes. Yeah. Steve James walking into this place, whatever it was, and shit-talking people is amazing. Mm-hmm. The entire extended hang glider sequence, I don't know why that was in the movie. Apparently... They really felt
action. Like it's action.
There was no action. No, it wasn't.
It's they did an underwater scene. Now they're like, hey, we're gonna do something in the sky. We're gonna make the sequel bigger and better. It's just they failed entirely with that sequence. I would have, when Dex started going down, he should have started literally going down, and Steve James should have turned around, looked, flipped that fucking truck around, drove underneath it, flipped it back around, so Dex landed on it, saving his life. That would have been awesome, but no,
it would have. I assumed that was there to establish that as part of Sean's ninja training, he had to learn to hang glide.
Do you think Steve James was like this in real life?
I hope so.
Do you think he just walked into places and was like, yo?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Well, Rachel, we're designating you as our Steve James correspondent. Why don't you see if you can get us an interview with someone that knew him?
Okay, I'm on it.
There is an American Ninja documentary, by the way. I don't know if you know that. There is an American Ninja documentary, and I think Steve James's daughter is in it. I had, just discussing the American Ninja franchise. I haven't watched it yet, but I know it exists. So we should.
Well, as the premier American Ninja scholars, I feel like that's something that we need to get into.
For sure.
Guys, okay. I feel bad for shit talking.
I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to send another Dudikoff tweet.
Like an apology tweet? Like, hey, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you look the same as the other guy. My bad. My bad, Michael.
Steve James's girthy shadow, which is something that Rachel was really hanging on in the Discord.
I think we were all really hanging on to that.
There's a lot to hang on to.
Okay, so we are gonna, nothing really happened in that 15 minutes, so we're gonna get on to the next 15 minutes, 45 through 60, in 5, 4, 3, 2, play.
Jump on the bar and level off. Now try the engine again. Sean's gonna hit! Don't quit, Dex.
Loud loud sigh.
I like that the Cobra is wearing a snakeskin suit, though. That's
You
a
mean
nice
evil
touch.
businessman?
Yeah. The Cobra.
And our enthusiasm is quite the
Waning.
roller coaster during this movie.
This
Yeah,
reminds me of last night when I was on the set of Pigface. It starts out really exciting, and then the longer it goes, the worse it gets. So, yeah, I'm just replaying last night with this movie. It's pissing me off.
Aren't you glad you woke up for this? You guys were only halfway through this movie. How is there another half of a movie worth of plot to
We only have
unfold?
30 minutes left.
Really?
Yeah, we're an
that's
hour
good.
in.
Okay. Good.
So what
Don't get
happens
worried.
during this
Steve James.
Nothing of
the-
import because
15 minutes that felt like
the,
30
the
minutes?
fucking
Yeah, so-
writer, Gary Conway, decides to just throw out all established character development of Steve James in this trilogy and makes him just not help, sit on the sideline, and do nothing. Seems very similar to what Ryan Johnson did to Luke Skywalker. He Ryan Johnson this before Ryan Johnson. I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Jeff Conway walked so that Ryan Johnson could
Yep.
run.
All right, so
that Luke
let's
Skywalker could
talk
sit.
about what little bit of plot actually happens here. Sean, our lame ninja, is running around the compound trying to find Izumo. He gets beat by ninjas. He gets put into a cell where 80's hair comes up, talks to him, and offers to help. Meanwhile, Steve James and Dex are outside the compound, and Dex is like, okay, it's time to go in, right? And Steve James just says, nope.
So, shall we go?
No.
And they basically wrote Steve James out of this movie for this 15 minutes because Steve James is just waiting outside with Dex during this entire segment. So nothing happens.
Possibly the worst 15 minutes in cinematic history.
Definitely in Stevecast history. But anyways,
Wow.
those were some bold words. I might need to rescind those.
Retract.
Anyways, the secretary of the minister, I don't know, the woman that Sean tried to get info about Azimo on like 2 parts ago shows up to evil businessman's office and is basically like, hey, I know about your evil plot and I want in. And so he tells her, yeah, you know what, I've got just the position for you. We're going to get along just fine. Welcome to the project. And then she leaves, and evil businessman immediately says, all right, we got to kill her. We can't have her out there ruining
Damn
this.
ambitious women.
Yes. Damn ambitious women. And so...
What happens when you let them read?
I know. Hey, let's not talk about voting. So evil businessman sends his henchmen out to kill this woman. She's driving. This guy's henchman is also driving, and with him he brought a ninja. So there's just a ninja in the passenger seat of this car throughout this entire car
Let
chase.
me ask you guys real quick. If you were just like driving around and you pulled up to a stoplight and you looked over and you just saw like a ninja riding shotgun with the person next to you, what would your initial reaction be?
I mean, I think I would just laugh.
Yeah, I don't know
I'd
how
probably
I'd
get a ninja
react.
star to the face, but I would just giggle.
One thing.
What would you do, Matt?
Jeez, I'd probably like try to get their attention and wave at them or something. Like,
So Matt would also put on his best sleeveless shirt and cowboy
Yes.
boots and try to lure them over.
yes.
That would also be a good Halloween option, just like full Steve James gear.
One thing I'm going to mention about all of these American Ninja movies, I think they're all rated R, but there is a decided lack of actual blood or cursing or any. I don't really know what makes these movies rated R.
Yeah, like there were a couple of like the Sean's dad got killed in the beginning, and even though he was shot 37 times, he only had 2 bullet holes, but they were bloody.
Yeah, you do get a poster or a painting of like a naked woman in this, so I guess maybe that's what made it rated R. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I expect more. Like I want to see when Steve James punches a ninja. I want to watch his fist go through the head of that ninja. That's what I want. I
Right.
want him to just wreck and destroy human bodies. And I don't get
That's
it.
what should be happening.
I mean, I don't feel like that's asking too much. I feel like that's a totally reasonable request.
It is.
We really just need American Ninja 3 starring Steve James alone.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I want them to do like a Parent Trap thing where it's just a bunch of Steve Jameses that were separated at birth to join together to fight the ninja. One of them has an English accent. It'll be
It
great.
would be amazing.
It'll be
It'd be
great.
amazing.
So at the end of the car chase, the woman wins. She causes the henchman and the ninja to crash, and then the woman rips her face off. It turns out it was 80s hair in disguise.
Just like rips her face off. No context to that whatsoever.
No, she rips her face off.
I
It's
know,
like
but it's just
Mission
it's
Impossible.
funny, yeah, that would have been context for the listener. she just rips her face off. It was just hilarious how you said that to me. The end.
Yeah, this last 15 minutes
I will say I was
sucked.
impressed. Her hair stayed even under the disguise.
Rachel was right. Yeah, she ripped the wig off, and her hair immediately went poof, and it was back.
Yeah.
It will not be defeated.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if I'm Stockholming, but I'm kind of like pro bad hair. Like I'm into her as a character.
I mean,
I
she
think I'm
has
just
the most
clinging.
interesting arc of anyone right now. Like,
Yeah.
Steve James is amazing, but his entire character so far is, there's a ninja, sweet, I'm a kill
No.
it. Which is all we
no,
need from
not
Steve
for
James.
the last 25 minutes. It's his character has become, you know what? I'm a nice guy now. I'm not going to go help my friends. I'm not going to go fight no ninjas. I'm just going to stay off on the sideline. They are ruining his arc. But I will say for this girl, Chan Lee, I think is what her name actually is in the movie.
80s hair.
80s hair, sorry. They have like they set up with the first American Ninja and American Ninja 2 do the same thing where they set up these sort of one person against multiple ninjas and kind of like a display of martial artistry. And they did that with her, but they only gave her about 10 seconds of actual screen time. She swung some swords real poorly. They clanked a couple times, and then it cuts away. So I felt like she was done dirty with her actual.
Yeah, what was the point of that? Because when Sean is on the roof, he's looking down, and she is dressed in a red ninja outfit, and she has... I'm assuming it's meant to be like a demonstration rather than a fight, because there are 3 blue ninjas, and all 3 of them run up, and they tap their swords once, and then the blue ninjas run away, and they do it one at a time. There was was there context there, or was that just a random scene they inserted into this segment?
Honestly, fugued. I have no idea what you're talking.
I know what he's talking about. I don't know the context. I literally don't even know what the villain is trying to do in this. I know there's a disease. I know there's something about. I mean, the subtitle is Blood Hunt. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like I,
So you think it's literally a blood hunt? Like he's trying to
I
find
think
the blood of the best
yeah,
ninja.
I think Sean.
Seems like when he
I-
was passed out would have been a good time to
I
get
think
it.
Sean is considered the quote unquote best ninja, and I think
Stupidly.
this guy, they didn't kill him, they captured him. I think in the next 15 minutes we're gonna find he needs Sean's blood to do whatever the fuck he's supposedly doing with this disease, which I still don't understand what the disease is for.
Yeah, there's just been like this dead zombie guy just like standing there motionless in every one of the shots of the evil science area. I don't get it either. I assume that they plan to inject Sean with something to like take control of him.
I see.
I don't know. They did establish that the entire contest was just a ruse. Like it was just set up to lure fighters to this island, and they were just going to pick the best one. And before anyone fought, they just decided it must be Sean, not Steve James. So what the fuck?
Okay.
Anyways, this segment was trash.
Yeah, this movie is.
Hopefully he's just left because he's got to go get some like heavy artillery. So they had to like write him out for a second.
Rachel,
so do a little
he already
stopping
has
spree.
heavy artillery. It's called his arms.
I thought you were
You're
going a
making
different
excellent-
direction
Well,
with that.
And what's between his legs. He's got plenty of heavy artillery ready to go.
Girthy.
Shadow Girth.
Guys,
That should be the name of our production
drunk.
company, Shadow Girth Productions.
Hang on, let me see if that's on YouTube. We'll steal that name just for future.
That could be just the Steve James only spinoff.
Okay, well, we are getting to the end of it here, guys. We got a half an hour left. I assume there's 10 minutes of credits. We are about ready to start minute 60 to 75 of American Ninja 3 Blood Hunt, and I'm hoping that something cool from Steve James occurs to make this worth it. Otherwise, I will regret not sleeping for the past 3 hours. So we'll start in 5, 4.
That regret is so great.
Yeah, I have real girthy regret right now. Let's not make thick the thing anymore. Everyone says thick. Let's just make girthy.
Girth.
Girthy.
Yeah.
That is so fucking girthy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Trust the subject here meets with your approval? Yes. Perfect.
All right. That started strong.
Yeah, I don't even know how to recap this. So,
Yeah, wait, before we start. Do either of you know what the fuck is going on? Like, what is the plot of this movie?
no, that's what I was gonna say. Like, so Sean has been infected with this virus, and this movie expects us to understand what this virus does. Except we have no fucking idea. Like
It turns you into a thong zombie.
yeah, it's either like a mind control virus. Because they clearly plan to use Sean somehow, or alternatively, the goal of this tournament was to find the most amazing ninja warrior there is and inject him with the virus to show if this virus is capable of killing him, then it's capable of killing anyone. But I have no idea. Like, Sean is telling Dex, if you can't find the cure for this virus, you have to kill me, which would lead me to believe that the virus isn't going to do that. It's on its own. I'm fucking lost.
It feels like if it only works on the greatest ninja ever, you've put a lot of money into something that can infect one person.
I don't get it. Like, Sean has a virus, and things are happening in the movie because of the virus. The movie clearly expects us to understand this virus, but none of us do. Anyways,
I'm looking at the plot here. There's one paragraph.
Please tell me.
There's a one-paragraph plot synopsis in Wikipedia. It says a powerful terrorist known as the Cobra has infected Sean Davidson, the American ninja, with a deadly virus as human guinea pigs in his biological warfare experiments. So the sentence itself doesn't make sense, but regardless. Sean and his partners, Curtis Jackson and Dexter, have no choice but to fight the Cobra and his army of genetically engineered ninja clones led by the female ninjette, Chanli. I added the ninjette in honor of Steve James.
Yes, Steve James. All right, let's try to recap this. Steve James does stuff here. He's got a machine gun. He's beating the fuck out of people. It's fucking great. Anyways,
that shirt came off.
Yeah, you know it's about to go down when he takes his shirt off.
Yes, which has happened several times in this movie so far. Like the man the shirt just doesn't want to stay on, and I can't blame it. So Sean has been infected with the virus. He has been delivered to General Andreas, who in the Steve continuity, I'm saying that is the Cobra, even though the movie disagrees with me. Steve James, Ninjette Baby, which is what she is being called here.
I go first. No slip-ups. Cobra's not the forgiving type.
You just get there, Ninja baby. We'll do the rest.
And Dex board this ship to rescue Sean, and Steve James is he's just beating the shit out of every ninja he comes across. 80s hair Ninjette Baby is holding her own. Dex is just a pansy. He can't keep up. He's just a detriment to the team. There's one great scene where Dex is being held by one ninja and another ninja is beating the shit out of him, and the ninja who is doing the punching turns around to face Steve James, and he like waves his hand around. He's doing these ninja poses, and Steve James just bonks him on the head. just smacks him in the head. And he goes down. But Steve James rescues Sean. Sean recognizes General Andreas as the man who killed his dad way back at the beginning of the movie, and so Sean unloads a machine gun on General Andreas, who suffers no bullet wounds as far as I could tell, but still dies. This is a very bloodless R-rated movie.
There's a flashback there, too.
There's a flashback.
Like taking his rage out on the man who murdered his dad, right?
Yes.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
But again, Sean is infected with the virus and then was delivered to General Andreas, but Sean wants Dex to kill him if they don't find the antidote, but he was being put on the ship to die anyway. The plot makes no fucking sense at this point. But the four heroes together, Sean, Dex, 80s Hair, and Steve James, they try to infiltrate the lab to find the cure for the virus. And so 80s Hair, who apparently is a female ninja, and all female ninja are a master of deceit and illusion and disguise. She dresses... Yes, just gonna let that go and move on. Rachel, this is Matt. Matt is doing this. Steve is safe. I didn't do this.
Just joking.
But 80s hair dresses up as the minister's secretary again. Steve James is like driving her around wearing this very degrading looking chauffeur's outfit. Like that was.
He looks so unnatural in clothes. It's upsetting.
Totally where I was going with that.
I wonder if Steve James's wife was, whenever like he was back from the office or whatever, if she was just like, you're not allowed to wear clothes at home. Like, did he just wander around in the nude?
He should have. If I looked like that, I would never wear pants.
In Rachel's America.
Anyways, 80s Hair, who is disguised as a secretary, just walks in, grabs the antidote to the virus, this mysterious virus that we don't understand. But she's caught by the Cobra, the guy that the movie designates as the Cobra, who I'm calling Evil Businessman. Evil Businessman clearly sees through her disguise. 80s Hair says, "You manipulated me, I didn't know you were evil," and then one of Evil Businessman's henchmen show up and shoot 80s Hair. We don't know if she's dead or not, but I have a strong suspicion she just got put in the fridge.
Wow. I wasn't going to go there, but she's definitely dead. Okay, so that's what your picture of the fridge was for. I was just wondering.
Have you not heard?
No, I've heard of it. I just didn't make the connection because I wasn't paying that close
She's
attention.
the one female of any importance in this movie, and she is dying to support everyone else.
Yeah. I just hovered over and I saw a
it's not
shaking
great.
fridge, and I was like, why is the fridge shaking? That would imply that someone's alive in that fridge trying to get out.
I mean, full
Not
disclosure,
dead.
I just typed in fridge, and that was like the
Okay.
first gift that
Well,
popped
that was
up.
a you that was your fault because
No, everyone knew what I was talking about. She's probably dead, but we don't know yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I think she's coming back. I think she's good. I think
there's
she's
like
got some,
10 minutes
Kevlar
left in this
situation.
movie.
Steve James.
Post-credit
Steve
scene.
James after
American Ninja.
after standing around outside for from the last scene, it looked like he just stood outside overnight while Sean was being kidnapped and infected with this virus. He is finally.
It seems like it would have been a good time for him to come in.
Yeah, he's finally, he took his shirt off, he grabbed some machine guns, grabbed some swords, and Steve James is kicking ass during this last segment.
Yeah.
It
And
brought me
that's the
back
thing.
into it.
Like the writer of this film was like, oh shit, we need to make this stupid white guy Sean the new hero of the franchise because we lost Dudikoff. So I have to write Steve James out of this screenplay somehow, sideline him by making him do the dumbest shit possible, which was already established that he was not going to just, hey, yeah, we'll just sit around and wait. But then when 80s hair shows up, he's just like, all right, let's just go kick some ass. Boom, just like that, and he decides to go kick some ass.
Are you telling me that this guy is not Michael Dudikoff?
Yes.
Just gonna let that one ride.
You should text him. You should text him. Text him and say, I'm so embarrassed. I just realized.
So how do we feel if this is going to end, guys? I don't even really know what the Cobra's deal is.
I don't either. I don't
know-
understand this virus.
I don't even understand, like, an army of genetically engineered ninja clones. I didn't even get that in the movie.
Like, are those? There's clearly dead, diseased people standing around this lab. Are they actually not dead? Are they zombified?
I don't think they're dead. I
Like I
think what's going to happen is the American Ninja is going to turn, like zombie style, and then the other ones are going to start moving, and we're going to get like a final fight where Steve James has to somehow bring him back from Ninja Zombie, is my guess.
See,
but we're gonna see a lot of dudes in thongs fighting. So
so
you guys make fun of me for saying that all these movies are porny, but
I feel like there
I'm
can't
just putting
be
that
a
out there.
real resolution here because there's no
Cliffhanger?
There's no they haven't really built it to anything. I mean, maybe it's just poor screenwriting.
What do you mean? Sean has been infected with the virus. The end is clearly he gets cured. He's got to fight his way to the antidote.
It feels weird. Maybe it's because I'm not putting the pieces of this thing together like I should. I don't know, but something seems off about this whole thing.
Wow, our American Ninja deep lore expert has just lost it.
It feels off.
This is the usual suspects of it. You're gonna once all the pieces will come.
There's
together.
going to be a
It'll
Saw
kind of
style
disownate you.
flashback of
Costas Mandalore is gonna come in and explain it all.
God. Okay, well with that, let's finish up this fucking movie. About 30% of it's been awesome so far, so maybe the last 10 minutes will be awesome. But let's finish it out. We're gonna do minutes. What is this? 75 to
We're
90?
just going to finish it. This is the last segment. We're just going to go to the end.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, it's only an hour and 29, so we're at minute 75 to 90. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
You're Kunoichi.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing that happened.
I was kind of right. It wasn't a thong fight, but it was formerly thong
I think
fight.
Steve got it because he predicted Dex is gonna die, right?
It was more of a
that
hope.
too.
That music at the end, this whole soundtrack has been great for this movie.
Yeah.
Arguably, aside from Steve James, the music has been the best part of this film.
And according to IMDb, it's just stolen from another film.
Well,
starring Steve James and Michael Dudikoff.
At least 95% of this plot is just American Ninja 2, so
Yeah.
So something happened that reminded me of something that we forgot in the last segment. Last segment, when Sean gets rescued, 80's hair just uses the Force to inject knowledge of Izumo into Sean's brain. So he's like, "Oh, cool! You were pretending to be Izumo. Got it." And then they move on from there. But at this point, Sean's infected with the virus. Everyone's trying to get to the lab to find the antidote. 80's hair is dead. Dex gets shot with an arrow and just dies, like no final words, no final
Shot
scene.
through the heart, and you're to blame. Sorry.
You were so lame.
But Dex dies and no one cares, which is the correct way to handle his death. Steve James is running around with a machine gun, just wasting ninjas. He pulls out a pistol, shoots a couple more ninjas, and then one ninja throws a ninja star and knocks the pistol out of his hand. So Steve James does a flip off like the second floor railing and just lands on the ground, and he finally pulls out the big ass swords that he has, and so he has a sword fight with the ninjas, and then he splits the swords in two, so now he's got two swords. So he kills all the ninjas. There's no blood, but there's like squishy noises all throughout this fight. But the last guy, Steve James, hits the ninja in the gut and like leaves the sword in him, and the ninja is like kind of like crumbling in pain, and Steve James just yells, "Die!"
Die!
And the ninja just falls down and dies.
It's like it wasn't the sword that killed him. It was just when Steve James told you
Steve
to die, you
James
fucking
issued you a
died.
command, and you now carry it out. So Sean dresses up like one of the ninjas. He makes it to the lab. He finds no antidote, but evil businessman / the movie's version of the Cobra is there. And he just tells Sean, you're gonna die. So I don't know what his plan for Sean was outside of give him the virus and then let him die. I still don't understand what this virus is supposed to do. But the undead, like, scabby bodies and thongs that have been in this room throughout the entire movie, the Cobra pushes the Cobra button. Like, it's a picture of a Cobra with a red button in the middle. He pushes the Cobra button, and then the lights turn out, and then when the lights come back on, the former, like, undead zombie guys are now dressed in red ninja outfits. And so there's a ninja battle, which, of course, Sean wins.
Because he goes like Super Saiyan, right? He basically like starts buffing up, and you see all of his veins.
Well, that's afterwards. He beats the ninjas, but he's going to confront the Cobra after that. But the virus has taken his toll, and so then he starts meditating super hard and like
I thought
lights.
That was before. I thought it was before he fights all the ninjas.
Was it?
I think so.
At some point, there's a ninja fight, and at some point, he starts meditating and doing hand symbols, and he gets all veiny and lights flash like around him.
He gets all veiny, and that's what causes the bad guy to press the Cobra button to get the other ninjas to take him down, and then he kicks the shit out of all those other ninjas.
Yeah, I don't remember which order those events happen in, but those are two events that happen. There's ninjas, and
these are really
there's
plot points.
ninjas, and there's him getting super veiny. And him getting super veiny, he meditates so hard that the virus just stops working on him. So he beats the shit out of the Cobra, and then Steve James shows up with the antidote, and Sean's like, nah, I don't need that. And Steve James gives him shit, like, you know how hard I worked to get you this? And then the Cobra attacks again, and Steve James just puts his hands behind his back and smiles and just watches. Doesn't need to help, doesn't help, as Sean, delivers the knockout blow to the Cobra. And then Steve James and Sean walk out the door, and Steve James is like, if we're going to be friends, can we fight other types of bad guys? I'm tired of fighting ninjas, because Steve James is that cool. No one mentions Dex, because no one cared about him.
Here's the antidote, man.
I don't need it anymore.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
You know what I went through to get this for you?
And then we see that like the military / police are outside like rounding up all of the ninjas and fighting them, like the evil compound and research facility is being raided, and the camera keeps focusing on this white guy that looks like he's supposed to be important, but I have no idea who this person is.
He was in the movie earlier. I remember seeing him, but I don't know what his role is in all of this.
Well, I think he was the boss of the other big-haired lady.
The minister?
Right? Like the consulate?
Yeah, like they called her like the secretary of the minister. Is this guy the minister?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Why don't you go back and rewatch the movie and report back to us who this guy was? It's very important.
Listen, I don't like myself very much, but I don't hate myself that much.
Now, I would have loved for this movie to end when
that was the end of the sentence. He just wanted it to end.
Yeah, when Sean walks up and Steve James, he's like, you know what I had to go through to get you this antidote? He just tosses it on the floor like it's nothing. Just like, I don't need it. I wish Steve James would just looked at him and went, die, and then Sean just dies right then and there, and then he walks away like, fuck this ninja shit, and just walks off into the good. What the fuck? I don't even know. I'm tired. I'm really goddamn tired.
I know.
Yeah, I liked, to wrap up my thoughts on this, I liked probably, I don't know, 30 minutes of it that focused on Steve James. I hated the part where Steve James was sidelined, and they made stupid character decisions just to keep him sidelined. Everything when Steve James was being Steve James was brilliant. Awesome filmmaking, great. Don't care about the Sean guy. Don't give a shit. And I don't know. I didn't like this as much as the other two American Ninja movies. I actually genuinely liked the first two.
I don't remember much of American Ninja 2. Like, we had to have watched it like 5-6 years ago at this point. But I remember my feelings towards it, and I was mostly positive towards it. Like, I feel like I had a really good time watching it. This one, it's like, yeah, anytime Steve James wasn't on screen, it just drug.
It was rough. It was crazy how fast it would vacillate between totally awesome and totally.
Yeah, our enthusiasm for this movie was like a roller coaster. Like we started out and it's like Steve James was on screen. Yeah, fuck yeah, Steve James is awesome, and it's like, oh, there's 15 minutes of the white guy.
Yeah. Now, here's a quick question for you guys, because I don't think any of us were very hot on this movie. I will splice in the clips of the brilliance of Steve James into the Stevecast on YouTube, so you guys can see some of it. But we all agree Steve James is a god, an on-screen god.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Compared to other 80s action stars, is there any other action star from the 80s that you would say, well, Steve James isn't as cool or as good as this sort of iconic character? Like, I think he beats Seagal. I think he beats Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would take him over like fucking Sylvester Stallone. Now, I don't know if you put like Schwarzenegger up against Steve James. Is Steve James superior to Arnold Schwarzenegger in terms of action, charisma, and all that? I feel like I'd still go with Schwarzenegger with that. I
think if you threw him into the Predator, and imagine you like swap the Jesse Ventura out for Steve James, I feel like he would steal the movie.
Okay, here's a good example. I think. Would you rather have Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, or would you rather have Steve James in Commando?
Honestly, I'd like to see Steve James do it. Because I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is great, but I think he's great because of the movie as opposed to him himself.
Yeah, I think Steve James has more charisma in that side by side.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really know where I'd land on that. I kind of disagree. I think that Arnold Schwarzenegger, part of his popularity was his charm and the way, the one-liners and things that he had in his films. But I would put Steve James up against everybody else in that time period. Although, Rachel, I must say, do you know who Cynthia Rothrock is? You don't know? Okay,
okay, let's look for Tubi movies.
Holy shit. Cynthia Rothrock is the most... You think Steve James is badass. At the same time period, Cynthia Rothrock was the most badass ninja of this entire 80s action time period. I cannot
shit,
believe. I will
really?
send you a clip of a Cynthia Rothrock action scene.
Oh,
and then,
Tubi has lots of Cynthia Rothrock movies.
Yeah, let's do a Cynthia
Okay,
Rothrock.
we'll do some research and we'll do that. But Cynthia Rothrock is the most underappreciated action star of the '80s. I've always felt that way, and we can have Jeff on for that because Jeff loves Cynthia Rothrock as well. She's a total fucking.
She doesn't
badass.
even look familiar. That makes me sad because I am a sucker for a Garbo 80s
Oh,
action
she is
film.
absolute badass.
The queen of Garbo.
Yeah, I think. Let me see here. Speak amongst yourselves real quick.
Okay, because I feel like the closer to the 80s, the better the movie's going to be. So, Martial Laws, 1991. Yeah, I'm feeling that one.
Hold on.
I just asked Jeff.
You know who Michelle Yeoh is? Okay.
Yeah.
She's in a ninja action movie with Cynthia Rothrock called Yes, Madam from 1985. It's the two of them kicking fucking ass. Now I don't know if that's on Tubi.
I'm not. What's the name of it again? I'm not seeing it.
Yes, Madam. I'll link it.
Nope.
The Wikipedia here. Oh damn. Okay,
Sadly.
we'll be able. I mean, it's got to be somewhere. We could try to find it. But yeah, we'll find some Cynthia Rothrock movies, and I'll send you some trailers, Rachel, and then you can select which Cynthia Rothrock movie you would prefer us to watch. Because she is a legend.
Pressure.
She's an absolute legend, and she has amazing martial arts. Like, if you look at Steve James, like, oh yeah, Steve James is kicking some ass, but Cynthia Rothrock has some actual action scenes that are nuts. It's stuff like, like Jackie Chan would do and stuff like that. She was that good.
Ooh.
She was that good.
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's good. We'll find something for it. But I got nothing else to say about this movie. Do you guys have anything you want to say?
Ooh. I mean, what do we think about this being? I mean, I don't know if it was his last film, or like his last American. Do you feel like it did him justice? How are you feeling at the end of this?
I mean, the scenes that he was in were great. So, I don't know that you could say it did him justice, but he was great. Let me see what this is gonna make me sad. Let me see what his last actual role was.
I think it was Mantis.
Oh yeah, which is another series I was gonna take a look at. Yep, Mantis was it. Before that, it was Blood Fist 5: Human Target. He was in Weekend at Bernie's 2. McBain.
I saw he was like Kung Fu Joe, and
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if Cynthia Rothrock was ever in a movie with Steve James.
If we can find it, Avenging Force. Avenging Force was another Michael Dudikoff and Steve James film.
Okay, Rachel, I'm going to link you this video on YouTube. It's just some general... I mean, this is like the first thing that I saw on here, so... This is just some general clips of Cynthia Rothrock in action. Just watch like the first little bit of this, and you're going to see who Cynthia Rothrock is. It's fucking great.
Okay, I'm looking up Avenging Force.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, now I've never been gay. This is amazing.
I love Cynthia Rothrock, and I can't believe you've never heard of her before.
I swear to God, it's not ringing bells. Nothing. Okay. It's not like one of the
good.
Weird. So, I feel like her films were like a staple of the 80s.
Yeah, and they were so good. I mean, look at her martial arts skills.
No, she's amazing.
And this isn't even like one of her crazier scenes. This is like she does all kinds of nut stuff. But yeah.
Okay. I need to see this yes ma'am thing, but I'm gonna wait, or madam, I'm gonna wait until after we watch this because I want to like go into it like a total Cynthia Rothrock.
Yeah, you could do this like Zombie Girls or something.
Virgin.
This would be like a good Zombie Girls sort of thing. But okay, cool. Well, I have nothing else. We love Steve James. We worship at the altar of Steve James. Everything other than the stupid writing. 40 minutes of this movie was great. I think that's going to wrap up our American Ninja series. Do you have any desire to see part 4 or part 5?
No, but I I kind of want to watch Avenging Force, which looks like it should have just been part of the series, because again, it does have Michael Dudikoff and Steve James in it.
Okay, is that on Tubi?
I don't know, probably not, but I'll look.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out, and then maybe we'll have Cynthia Rothrock show next month on the Stevecast, and we'll have Jeff on there, and then Jeff and I could just...
Yeah, martial law, he says.
Martial law.
Not
close.
So.
Do we just want to let Jeff pick it, or would you prefer, you to pick it?
I mean, I trust him. The thing is, I don't want to pick wrong and not get the best Cynthia Rothrock experience that I can possibly get. So I'm gonna defer on this one because I want to get the best first impression. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll go with martial law.
Okay. Next month on the Stevecast, we're watching Martial Law, and we're going to introduce Rachel to the great Cynthia Rothrock. And that's it.
I feel like I'm just going to be fangirl squealing for 3 hours, so look forward
It's so
to that.
good. Thank you for checking out Outpost Unknown. There's a million other shows. Check them out as well. Email us, outpostunknown@gmail.com. If there's a movie you'd like us to watch on the Stevecast at some point in time, maybe we can run a contest and we can have a viewer jump on and guest on one of these. Or something. The one viewer guest and jump on this. But thanks, everybody, and we will see you next month.
Bye, everybody.